When I traveled to Kenya and Uganda in 2004, I began to understand something deeply troubling. I saw firsthand why the black man in Africa has remained poor in his own land, and why he continues to labor for the developed world to become wealthy. In places like Kericho in Kenya, the entire town can be described as a tea town. There are miles upon miles of tea plantations, with hundreds of Africans working, harvesting tea leaves and performing various tasks. Yet, despite all this labor, the wealth generated does not remain with them. Historically, tea came to Europe and America from China in the 17th century, originally as a form of medicine. It was expensive, consumed only by the rich. The British, recognizing its value, began cultivating tea themselves. They established plantations in India, Sri Lanka, and Africa. The natives, unaware of the true value of their land and resources, became laborers in a system that extracted wealth away from them. The British developed the full chain, planting, harvesting, processing, marketing, and transforming tea from medicine into a recreational beverage. Each stage added value. Today, although China introduced tea to the world, its global brand presence is overshadowed by names like Lipton. Meanwhile, those who cultivate the tea, the Indians, Sri Lankans, and Africans, earn very little compared to those who control the value chain. Welcome back to another episode of the series on Value, the Currency of Life by Dr. Charles Apoki. Please check the description for links to buy hard and soft copies on Amazon. Now consider sugar. In Lugatsi, Uganda, and across South Africa, there are vast sugarcane plantations. Historically, even Indians were brought to South Africa as laborers to work on these farms. Together with Africans, they planted and harvested sugarcane. But again, they did not control the process of value addition. Sugarcane in its raw form has limited value. When processed into brown, granulated sugar, its value increases. When refined into white sugar, the value rises further. When shaped into cubes, the price increases again. Exporting it to international markets adds even more value. Then comes transformation into finished products. When sugar is used to produce beverages like Coca-Cola, the value multiplies significantly. Even packaging plays a role. Placing the drink in cans or plastic bottles instead of glass can increase the price by up to 300%. The core issue is clear. The problem is not the lack of resources, but the inability to extract maximum value from what we have. Unfortunately, the education system inherited from colonial masters has conditioned many to seek employment rather than create value. It promotes conformity instead of curiosity. It trains individuals to work within systems that benefit external economies rather than build their own. Even the version of the gospel introduced lacked balance. It focused heavily on heaven without adequately teaching responsibility, innovation, or enterprise. While the early missionaries did important work, many were not entrepreneurs. They depended on support from abroad, and this mindset has, in many ways, shaped institutions in Africa, both religious and governmental, into systems that rely on external support rather than internal productivity. This reflection is not about racism or seeking sympathy. It is an honest analysis of why we remain behind and why a new, balanced approach is necessary, one rooted in sound principles, responsibility, and value creation. In summary, true wealth lies not just in having resources, but in understanding how to transform, refine, and multiply their value. Until this mindset shifts, the cycle will continue. Thanks for watching. Please share your thoughts, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget you can get hard and soft copies on Amazon using the links in the description.